Hey, what's up guys? Today, I'll show you a supernatural horror film, BOOGEYMAN Part 1. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. One stormy night, a young boy named Tim is about to sleep alone in his bedroom. Tim is having difficulty sleeping as it seems that there is something bothering him. A scary toy figure scares him, so he hides it. The crow toy suddenly moves, and a scary figure appears in the dark, telling him not to go to sleep. Tim opens the light to check, and the figure turns out to be a jacket in the chair. He then turns off the light, and the figure moves out of the blue. This forces him to turn on the light again, making the figure disappear, leaving only the jacket. A gust of wind enters his room, creating several movements inside his room. The lamp drops from the table, leaving the room dark again. The closet opens up by itself, forcing Tim to hide under his blanket out of fear. A figure slowly approaches him, and it turns out to be his father, checking on him. He then tells his father that the BOOGEYMAN is hiding in his closet, but his father tells him that the BOOGEYMAN only exists in the stories. To reassure him that there is no BOOGEYMAN, his father confidently enters the closet. Out of nowhere, the BOOGEYMAN grabs the bullshit father and beats the shit out of him. In the end, the BOOGEYMAN drags his father away, making his father disappear. Many years later, Tim grows up as an adult without a vivid memory of the traumatizing event. He grew up believing that his father simply ran out of their home when he was a kid. Until now, the trauma of dark and enclosed places still haunts him. Despite this, he has a good relationship with his rich girlfriend, but because of the trauma, he lives a strange life. He removes all of the cabinet doors inside his house, and his refrigerator has a transparent door. While in his house, he receives a call from his uncle, telling him to visit him since he is not doing well. His uncle also tells him that he needs to settle things about their old house. The next day, he finally meets his girlfriend's parents. They eat together, and her parents ask him some questions. After eating together, he stays in the guest room of her parents' house. At night, his girlfriend sneaks into his bed, and they sleep together without letting go of their hormones. While he is sleeping, he has a creepy dream where his mother turns into a ghost and proceeds to attack him. The girlfriend then wakes him up and finds him sleeping on the floor. He then frantically looks for his phone, and he immediately calls his uncle to ask about his mother. At this point, his uncle informs him that his mother is already gone. Apparently, his mother greatly suffered after his father disappeared. He then needs to visit his mother immediately. Before going to his mother's wake, he visits a psychiatric facility where he grew up. There, he asks the psychiatrist if the supernatural thing that he saw from his vague memory is real. The psychiatrist says that it is not real, and he needs to go back to his old house to confront his fears. As he is walking along the hallway, he finds a young girl who is also seeing things in dark, enclosed places. After that, Tim attends his mother's burial ceremony. There, he sees a young girl taking a look at the burial. After the burial ceremony, he proceeds to drive back to his childhood house. Along the way, a crow strangely hits his windshield. Tim removes the crow and continues driving. He eventually arrives back at his childhood house, and it is in a complete mess after being abandoned for years. Tim roams around the house, and he begins reliving his childhood memories there. He remembers that in the past, his parents argued about why he was scared of his closet. His mother was angry with his father for telling him the BOOGEYMAN story. His father then insisted that it is merely a story. Back to the present, Tim tries to enter his childhood room, but he is too scared to enter it. He walks out of the house, and he encounters his childhood best friend named Kate. Her horse suddenly drops her to the ground. He then lets her inside the house to put some ice on her head. There, the two talk about their childhood memories. He gets the photos to look for a photo of them together. As he sees a photo of his family, he remembers himself insisting to his mother that his father was taken by the BOOGEYMAN. Kate approaches him, and he shows them a photo of them together. After some talking, Kate decides to leave and says that she will come back to bring food later. Alone now, Tim senses strange movements behind the closet door. He grabs a hammer before entering the closet. The door suddenly closes, and the surroundings shake violently. As the force throws his heavy ass out of the closet, the movement stops. That night, an abandoned cabin catches Tim's attention when he walks out to throw trash. He checks the cabin, and he finds Franny, the same mysterious young girl, looking at his mother's burial. Apparently, Franny's father knew Tim's mother, which explains why she attended his mother's burial. Franny asks him if it is true that his father was taken away by a BOOGEYMAN. In response, he insists that the BOOGEYMAN is merely a story, and it is not true. After that, he offers to give Franny a ride back to her home, but she decides to go home alone. Tim finds a bag with a "Do Not Open" sign inside the cabin, and he brings it back to his house. As he is walking through the hallways, he remembers that his father used to lock him inside the cabin to help him overcome his fear. Inside the cabin, he used to count to 5 to calm himself down. Back to the present, he opens up the bag, and he finds posters of missing children that have been possibly taken away by the boogeyman. As he is browsing it, he senses another strange movement inside the house. He takes a look at one of the posters, and the ghost of the child in the poster suddenly shows off its ghostly muscles in front of him. As he takes a look behind him, more ghostly children appear. The ghosts of the missing children then slowly approach him. As the ghost children hold him, he gains a vision of their traumatizing experiences. The ghost children disappear as there are strange movements inside the closet. Tim rushes outside, and his girlfriend awaits him. Apparently, she pays him a visit to check on him. Tim says that they should leave the house immediately. They drive away, and since it is already too late, they decide to stay in the motel for the rest of the night. Meanwhile, Kate brings food to Tim at his house, but she cannot find any presence of Tim, so she roams around the house to find him. In the motel, Tim goes out to get some ice, while his girlfriend goes to take a bath. She appears to be dragged by the boogeyman when she's naked in the bathtub. Tim walks back to the room, only to find his girlfriend missing. He opens up a closet. As he enters it, he finds himself back in his house. There, he encounters Kate, and he immediately asks for his girlfriend. Tim appears to be in shock by the events that have taken place. He suddenly remembers that his girlfriend is missing in the motel room, but he already doubts his memory at this point, thinking that it might just be a dream. So he frantically asks Kate to go back to the motel room with him. They eventually arrive there, and he checks the room, realizing that he and his girlfriend really came there. Kate finds blood in the bathtub, and Tim realizes that the boogeyman has taken his girlfriend away. Kate asks him about the blood. Tim says that someone has taken his girlfriend away. As Tim appears to be in an insane state, Kate suspects that he might have caused harm to his girlfriend. Tim gives Kate a ride back to her home. When she enters her house, he sees a silhouette figure through the window. He then frantically calls Kate, thinking that she is in danger. In response, she insists that the figure must be her father. She then tells him to go home. Thinking that he is sick, she calls his uncle to go check on him. But during that time, she senses strange movements around her. As he is driving back to his home, he encounters Franny playing in the park. He confronts her, revealing that his father has been taken away by the boogeyman. Franny replies that she knows about it. He then asks her for help, in fear that the boogeyman will take more people close to him. She refuses and decides to go home. He follows her, and he asks her how he can stop the boogeyman. She has no answer to his question. He realizes that he knows the house in front of them. He enters the house with Franny and finds writings on the wall describing the boogeyman. He says that the house belongs to the doctor, known to be insane after his daughter went missing. The doctor appears to be scared of enclosed rooms, so he sealed up everything. Tim finds a chair in the middle of the room. Franny holds it, and she gains vision of the doctor, locking himself in the chair while waiting to be attacked by the boogeyman. Tim then finds a writing telling him to face the boogeyman. At this point, he realizes that the doctor left a single door open in order to lure out the boogeyman. He calls Franny, and she finds her looking at the posters on the wall. The poster reveals that Franny is one of the children taken away by the boogeyman. This means that Tim is talking to Franny's ghost. She then reveals that she is the doctor's missing daughter. She says her doctor father failed to beat the boogeyman as he was too scared to face him. So she instructs Tim to go back to the place where it all started. There, he must face the boogeyman in order to defeat it. Soon after, Tim drives back to his childhood house, and he finds his uncle's car, making him realize that his uncle must be inside. He calls his uncle inside, but there is no trace of his uncle. He then believes that the boogeyman already took his uncle away. He proceeds to seal up the doors inside the house. Now he needs to enter his childhood room to conquer his fears. He courageously enters the room. While setting up the chair, a strong force opens up the doors in the house, removing the nails that seal it up. He sits up in the chair, facing the closet. Franny whispers that the boogeyman is waiting for him. Tim then enters the closet, and it leads him back to the motel room. The time then moves back when the boogeyman is about to take his girlfriend. He goes to the bathtub, and dark water fills it up. The girlfriend resurfaces from the water, asking for help. Tim tries to grab her sexy body back, but she is already gone. As he scrambles to search for his girlfriend in the water, she suddenly floats strongly. The force pushes Tim away. The water forms a figure and takes his girlfriend away. Tim tries to follow them, but he moves back to his house when his uncle checks on him. His uncle sees the boogeyman and tries to shoot it with the nail gun. In response, the boogeyman takes his uncle away and seals his uncle using plastic. The boogeyman then comes back to drag his uncle back to the closet. Tim enters the closet, and he is moved back to Kate's house during the time when she called his uncle. Tim sees the boogeyman downstairs, and when Kate peeks like a peeping Tom, the boogeyman tries to grab her smelly ass. Luckily, Tim manages to push Kate back to the room. The boogeyman drags Kate's heavy body away, but Tim pulls her. The Boogeyman then drags both of them back to Tim's house during the present time. The Boogeyman then shows off its ghostly muscles in the closet, and Tim remembers that he must face its ugly and disgusting muscles in order to defeat it. He also realizes that his childhood is where it all started. He then figures out that the Boogeyman exists through his toy's form. Therefore, he grabs a baseball bat and smashes his toy crow. Then he destroys the electric globe next. After that, he rips his jacket apart and a massive force drags everything back to the closet. So Kate and Tim try their best to hold themselves. Finally, Tim destroys his toy figure. As a result, the Boogeyman is dragged back to the closet and it turns into nothing, without a trace of its ghostly hormones. As everything settles down, Tim reassures Kate that the Boogeyman will not come back. In the end, the Boogeyman eventually lurks in another closet like a peeping Tom, hoping to find its next victim and show off its disgusting ghostly muscles. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.